Welcome to the DORKLAIR Collecting live stream. Today is Thursday, September 19th. We are on the cusp of autumn, and I am drinking a Oktoberfest beer. And we are there. What is going on? We got Curtis here. Larry couldn't make it, so Curtis is filling in today. And we have special guest Dave. Is it Igo?
Igo, yeah.
Igo, yeah.
No, that's cool. How dare it's that too much of that ale, you know? Just
yeah.
And, you're cut off, sir. You know, no kidding.
Yeah. So Dave is here to talk about the Monstors Kickstarter, and we'll get into that in a few. But as always, let's start off with our recent pickups. Curtis, what have you been up to?
We got Off-World tomorrow night, and we do a toy pickup at the beginning, and I had nothing. I hadn't gotten anything, hadn't opened anything. So I went to a local toy store today, and which I didn't know existed. Apparently it's been like near my house for like 3 years, and I didn't know it existed. But
that's your find. You found the toy store.
Yeah.
So I found this Danger Room set, Wolverine. This was like my favorite play set growing up.
That's awesome.
And they had it new, sealed in a box. It was only $30, so I had to pick that up. So
nice.
Yeah, not sure if I'm going to open it or not yet, but we'll see. Tune in tomorrow, maybe I will. But that's it. That's all I got.
And tear it out whenever you want. You can't always put it back in.
That's my mentality too. Exactly. Yep. How about you, David?
I've been catching up on some stuff. I have a bunch of pre-orders, but some stuff I got more recently, like in the last couple of weeks, but I still haven't needed to tear them open, is my Boss Fight Studios, Sir Zoric Warriors, because they just channel everything I love about like 80s and 90s weird kooky stuff, more on the Dino Saucers side of things, but I love like Dino Riders and what Creative Beast Studio has been doing, but just any sort of like bipedal animal stuff I'm like a super sucker for. So yeah, nice. And dinosaurs,
Awesome. So for me, a couple things here. I got the Vintage Collection Blurg, and I have the new Toy Pizza Knights of the Slice Sea of Daggers
figure
on there.
I was gonna ask if that was Ren from Pirates of Dark Water. I was like,
so it's totally, it's totally. So this one, the Sea of Daggers was a Kickstarter last year, and awesome. They had 2 slots for a tier where you could design your own figure, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he chose to do like a Pirates of Dark Water, tribute here, and so that's that one. I got a few other of those Sea of Daggers figures, and they're fantastic. We'll talk about them in some of the toy news. And then the Blurg is awesome, and it's kind of late. Like I feel like this should have been out 3 years ago, but this thing is fantastic. This figure is great.
Took them that long to make the Blurg? That's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't even think there's a Black Series one either.
Crazy.
If I'm not mistaken.
By the way,
I don't think
I got this like a month ago. From Pirates of Dark Water. It's like
nice.
I got like a bunch of the vintage ones because I'm like, how did I never have these? So like literally, I saw them like, I have those. Just Ren and Lothar in the other room, but I love them.
It's funny. I never watched Pirates of Dark Water because like that was like I want to say that was like my college years or high school years when I just wasn't watching any cartoons, and so something I need to go back and check out. I've heard it's really good.
It holds up shockingly good.
Nice.
Like I have it on DVD. I've bought it a few times because I keep lending it to people and then I lose it. Like I'm like, who did I lend that to? And I just keep. It's so good. Just it doesn't end. It just like stops. You know what I mean? They just didn't continue it. So that's the only unfortunate thing. But I put it up there with like, to me, I put it up there with like gargoyles in terms of how much it holds up. Yeah, I love it.
Sweet. And then the other thing I got was I got my C. Jessam order in, which included this hat. And then it was also the one with the Goblin set, but it just came in today. So I've only had time to just put the hat on this one figure. The Goblin set is a lot more complex, so I haven't had a chance to do that. But this hat is awesome. And it's a much kind of needed thing for this figure, I think.
That's cool.
That's a great beer to hat ratio for a wizard.
Yeah.
You know, it could easily go like slightly too big of a hat, too small of a beard. That's like a good
Nailed
ratio.
it.
Yep. All right, let's check in with the chat here. Let me scroll up to the top. We got Josh Brown, who actually connected us a couple weeks ago. Josh was like, "Hey, Dave's got a thing going on. You wanna check it out?" And yeah, so thank you, Josh, for hooking us up here.
He was my first supporter on the thing too. He like literally was hitting refresh until it went live. Nice. I was an hour and a half late, so poor guy.
First backer, nice.
Waiting for a while.
And then we have Blake over here. Happy Friday's Eve. I did a double workout today, and like I've been so busy because I am going away for the weekend for I'm going to the Big E. No, none of you guys have ever heard of it, but it's the biggest East Coast like fair. And we go every year. And so like I'm leaving tomorrow right after work, and I'm just like hectic day. So I'm looking forward to finally like just getting on the road and enjoying my weekend.
Are you staying at a hotel, or is that one where you like actually camp out like some festivals?
People do camp out, you know, like especially the people who like work it and stuff. But that's like my hometown, so we'll stay at my sister-in-law's house. Cool. And kind of go there in the morning and eat. Like it's like the type of thing where there's like all crazy foods, like crazy, you know, tons of food vendors. And yeah,
you should definitely record each of the crazy foods you eat and save that for a future segment, because I just love their food. It's like so insane. They take this thing, wrap it in that thing. It's twice as big as it should be. They deep fry it and then coat it in like funnel cake bits. It's like
there's someone there this year that's dry. That's like not freeze drying, but like I guess like freeze drying sweets and like freezing them. I don't know. There's something weird going on with freezing stuff this year. But there's always like there's like the state buildings. So like the main building probably has like lobster rolls or something. And then like the Vermont building has like a million different like maple stuff. Like it's all those kinds of things. And then of course there's all the, you know, the vendors of crazy stuff.
I'm jealous now. Now I'm hungry.
I like when they have like the turkey legs that look like something out of the Flintstones.
Oh yeah, they have I bet this guy goes to like all the huge fairs. Like it's gotta be like 20 feet of grill.
Yeah.
And it's just all turkey legs, just like, and it's probably 8 feet deep by 20 feet, just all turkey leg. It's wild.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then let's see who else we got here. So we got Blake, Rob Zamora, Dave Orkin. I am rocking the Dave Orkin shirt today.
Nice.
This is his own.
That's awesome.
I forget the artist who did this one, but he makes the t-shirts, and this is his brand that he's pushing now. This is his second shirt. Cool. And who else here? Kirby's in the house. Today's very special episode is brought to you by 2006 Eurovision winner Lordi and their hit single, Could You Love a Monster Man? The Human Foundation and viewers like you.
All right.
I love it.
The more you know.
Dylan, the Legends Collector, is here. Jeff Evans, TJ Williams. Isn't Trevor live right now? You're watching mine? Thank you, Trevor. Or thank you, TJ. You're avoiding Trevor to watch me. I love it. Your brother.
Good. Let's sink that Trevor ship. It's us, right?
It might be at 9. It might be at 9. Let's see if TJ is still here after 9. Gotcha. Slink is here. Eric Miller, Cyber Rat, Jeremy, Scott, J Mac, JD, Edgardo, Ruben, Jordan's here.
He's on the train.
Let's see. I think that's everybody. We had Ruben, right? We said Ruben.
Mm-hmm.
Kent Poole is here. What's up? And that's everyone. Oh, Eric Munoz is here. Awesome.
Sports ball. Cool.
Darn it. Don't tell me scores right now. Yeah, the Patriots are playing right now. I do like watching my football. But you know, they're not going to be very good this year. Although I don't think the Jets, maybe the Jets are. I don't know, but I doubt it. So a couple kind of mediocre teams, I would imagine. All right. Raspor. All right. Not here. Okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not present. Love it. Love it.
All right. So let's get into your stuff. Let's talk about the Monstors.
Cool.
And I did want to, I tried to upload that video, and it was a different format that StreamYard didn't take. So I was gonna bring it up.
I give it to people just in case.
I want to watch it though. I want people to see it. So what I'm gonna do?
It's on YouTube. I am going to link it if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on the Kickstarter page. So let me share. Let's start with that. I feel like that's the proper introduction here, right? So
totally is. Yeah.
So let's share this. We got that. And I'm going to put that on stage here. And I guess the audience has to let us know if the sound works. So here we go.
An epic new toy line of beastly buff brawler bros battling it out to see who will reign supreme. Monsters!
I'm Shamumu, the Oceanic Battle Boss. And I'm Sting Cobra, the venomous spike scoundrel.
Who will win this epic battle between the first two monsters?
You're going down, Sting Cobra. Not a chance with that ugly mug.
Monsters come with interchangeable parts so you can create your very own monster. Like this. Or this. Or this. Or this. Don't just get one. The more Monsters you have, the more Monsters you can make. And every Monster comes with their own little buddy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, aren't they cute? But in the end, only one can reign supreme.
You haven't seen the last from me, Shamumu.
By land, sky, or sea, Monsters battle by the law of tooth and claw, as is the way of Monsters! Collect them all, each sold separately. New from Igo stuff.
Got the stuff?
That's awesome.
Thanks. But I still laugh every time I watch that stupid thing. It's like, what is this crazy?
It's amazing.
I love it so much. I'm so glad I did it. I was really worried. I mean, it wasn't like actually worked with a real like film production director photography guy. I met him at Monster Palooza, and he helped me out on the pricing because he knows I'm like not a studio, but he's like, I love these. We have to make a commercial. I'm like, I want to make a commercial. So Rad Cine, I think it's how he pronounced it, Cine. His name is Mitch Parks. He's awesome. And I wrote out an idea, pitched him. He loved it. And I storyboarded the whole thing. He got some actors. I had a friend build a set and I brought the toys and we had a couple of awesome helpers. And just, it was a real small effort, but it just came out awesome. And then having Aaron LaPlante, he did the voice for Monsters. He did the voice for the caveman from that cartoon show Primal. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
So good. But
I gotta check it out.
It's hard to watch because it's so violent. It's like, whoa, like it's like caveman, an adolescent T-Rex. I think it's kind of like adolescent or some sort of a T-Rex like, I forget what that, like a sauropod or I always get them confused, but it's great. But I met him through a mutual friend and we stayed in touch and he saw what I was up to and he's like, dude, what are you up to with this? I'm like, I want to do a toy commercial. I want you to voice it. He's like, I would love to do it. So he killed it. Like I had to do the temp voice stuff just for pacing and editing. And so there's a cut. I might show it later, but it's me doing the Monsters voice. And so I sent him the commercial with that and then the script just so he could read from it. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going for. And his first take was great, but it was just a little bit like slower, more chill. I'm like, dude, I need you to be like you're at an 8. I need you to be at a 13.
Yeah.
And his second take when he sent me the audio takes, I was laughing. The first time I heard him scream Monsters, I almost fell on my chair. I was laughing.
It's really good.
Be better. Can't be better.
Yeah, it's like an old school 80s toy commercial. Like it has that feel to it. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I try to get like the 80s meets that weird early 90s extreme kind of stuff. Like I was actually a couple of Ninja Turtle toy commercials were inspiration for it. There's one where it was a Scumbug and Wingbat and a few of them, and it had like that and the Street Sharks commercial. They're busting through a wall, Kool-Aid Man style. I was like, this is so it's a weird thing where like the 80s felt a certain way and the 90s felt a certain way, and I'm trying to like make this right in the middle of the both, you know.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really good. And it just like sets the tone, you know, it really does. And so here we go. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I tried to find some semblance of an order, but you can kind of just talk as the slides come through. Do you want to just initially talk about like how you came up with it, where this came from, that kind of stuff?
Totally. So I'm like, you know, and I know your channel's a lot of Mythic Legions fans, and I love Mythic. I have a ton of them. There's all in the other room. Like and I love the Four Horsemen. Like Eric Treadway has been like a big brother to me, and Chris Garwich, who's their production manager for their China. Like I think mostly focused on China. He's helping me with my project. So I'm kind of like, you know, side family of the Four Horsemen Studios with this in a really cool way. But Eric was super supportive of this, and all the guys are great. Jim and CB are awesome. I've known George Gaspar for almost 18 years now, and love those guys. They've been super supportive of this. But basically, I have my vintage toys of like He-Man, Ninja Turtles, and some Street Sharks. I was looking at going like, what don't I have that I want that isn't made? And I realized like the formula I like is I love all the buff barbarian tribal stuff. And I love like all the bad guys from He-Man. And then I love the animal things from Ninja Turtles, you know, especially when they lean more towards the warriors and less towards basketball playing giraffe, more towards like warrior and, you know, samurai T-Rex. I was like, I think this is what I want. But then how do I make it more of a unique DNA? So I love the idea. I love creature design. I do creature design for fun. I've done a little bit of it freelance. I love creature features. So I was like, well, how can I make these more unique? So I love the idea of I don't really have a good shark, even though I have a couple Street Sharks. I don't have one like that fits more of the Ninja Turtles He-Man body mold. So I was like, I want I want a shark character, but with like bull horns. That just would look like so cool to me. And I was like, but instead of a shark, I was walking my dogs with my wife one night, and I was like, instead of a shark, what if it was a killer whale? Because bulls and cows are black and white, and killer whales are black and white. So that would be like the gel of the two. So Shamumu was like the first one that came to be. And then Sting Cobra was, I love Scaletail. I love Clawful. So I wanted like a cobra-headed guy that fit more in the He-Man world. Because Cobra Khan's awesome, but he doesn't have like the big hood, except for the 2000X one. But I wanted like a cool snake cobra viper villain, and then I wanted him with legs because Scaletail has like his weird tail thing he tilts over. So I'm like, I want something that stands. I'm like, well, I like claw. Giving him a claw would be cool, but instead of doing like the crab lobster thing like Clawful, I'm like, what if it went scorpion angle and then he gets a scorpion tail? That would just make him like a triple threat. He has the claw, he has the tail, he has the fangs, you know. So I'm like, that makes a cool ass bad guy. So those are and I like the contrast too. So it's not just underwater characters, and you get a bit of, you know, contrast both like visually in terms of the character type or animal type, then also color wise. So yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, I mean the colors, the style, everything. It's very cool.
Thanks, Curtis. Yeah, it was Erwin Papa was the initial, like, he's my main designer on this whole line. I've worked with a few other friends too who are all awesome, but Erwin was the first one I hopped on the phone with, like, I have an idea. Do you want to draw it? And he's like, yeah. So we talked for like an hour that first night about Shamumu, and he's like, oh, it'd be cool if we gave him like webbed hands and cloven feet, so you get that contrast right away. Because I knew he'd have horns, but I'm like, how else we weave in some more cow into him? We joked about like maybe we give him an udder, but then it's like then it becomes a female cow. And I like the shark mouth belt buckle with the tentacles and the cowbell. So when he pitched the cloven feet, I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah. Erwin brought like a ton to this line in terms of like I think sometimes people like creators are like, this is my idea and this guy executed it, or this is my idea and I drew it. But I was like, I had a loose, vague idea, and I love working with my friends and colleagues. I just like hop on the phone. I love being collaborative because I might have an idea and then they have a better way to elevate it. You know, it's about best ideas should rise at the top. So Irwin brought like a ton to this design. So
I like the barnacle encrusted anchor as a weapon. That's a great touch.
Thanks. Lots of barnacles. We actually, so we're updating the sculpt a little bit for tooling. I'm going to make a post about it, but we're putting some barnacles like on his feet and like on the base of his horn. Nothing like insane, just like a little bit, just to match kind of the texturing we have going on with Sting Cobra. But the barnacles are just awesome. It's a fun little detail to add. They're on his back too, like on his tail and some other places too. Like if we ever do a cartoon show, like they did him like raising his arms or like in his armpits and he's like shaving, you know, and they're just like crusts off, you know. And then Sting Cobra, I just wanted like a bad guy that looks like a bad guy and just like has all this extraness to him without going like too over the top. It's like one of those like you wanted to go just far enough but not too far. And then each of these guys, I wanted them to come with like a little buddy, like a lot of like the Playmates toys, like Ninja Turtles, Earthworm Jim had a bunch of them too. And I love like Keshi figures, little like muscle figures, and like the OMFGs from George. Those are awesome. So I have like a ton of them. So here's one of my OMFGs, a couple of them. Boop. Got them ready. I'm a George Gaspar supporter, whether he likes to admit it or not. Kidding. He'll push me up.
Somebody said, is that a thing? Somebody said nose ring through the blowhole. Is that on there, or that he's suggesting that?
So on Bulltooth, the first character variant, so I to amortize some of the tooling because it's insano to make these things.
Yeah.
So Bulltooth is a unique character variant of Shamumu, so it's a different head, different weapon. He has like the nose with the little knocker on it. So I thought about doing it on Shamu, like giving him a blowhole on the top of his head, but it just didn't work for me. Like visually, I'm like, I like the horns, like the you get the pattern, like the white stripe on the top of the head. You can see a little bit of it there. So I kept the knocker, the nose knocker for the Bulltooth variant guy. So we'll see him probably in one of these doodads.
Now the swappability on here, how does that work? Is it like it just pops out or what kind of system you got there?
So the work in progress prototypes that are that's where the photos are. It's like a 95% finished digital sculpt that I just 3D printed, painted, just so I could bring them to conventions. We worked in some engineering just for what we were doing, but they're just like perfect cylinders and they're 3D prints. So they stand up for a little bit, then they fall down. So we use like museum putty just for the staging or whatever. But when I work with Chris in the factory, we're going to work on some sort of mechanism so they can they friction fit really good. To me, it's got it. Like the arms got to stay up forever if the arm's up, and there's got to be a way for them to like pop out like semi easily without because I want kids to be able to play with these too. So I don't want to be like, all right, get out your heat gun and loosen it up and up. So I'm working with Chris to figure that out exactly how that's going to work. But
gotcha.
Thoughts and prayers for the effort, guys. We're gonna make it happen.
Well, Chris is the utmost professional, and he's got all the knowledge. So you're in good hands,
and he
of course.
He has plenty of experience making toys that pop apart. So
yeah. Between Horseman, he was at NECA before. I don't know what he did before that, but he has I've worked in resin collectibles for 18 years. I've done a little bit of plastics, but resin manufacturing is like totally different than plastics. It's like such a different process, both in the tooling, like the mold and cast process. Like with resin, it's silicone based because it's a hard object because you can't have hard on hard. So either your material's really hard and your mold's soft, or mold's really hard, and then your material's kind of soft. So like in case of plastics, you do steel tooling so it can come out. But with statues, it's silicone tooling, like tooling. We don't even call it tooling. We call it like just mold and cast. But it's just a totally different process. So like having these talks with him about how these fill up different tool trays, what the tool size is, how much we can pack into this stuff. It's like, I basically didn't even think of that when I made these. I'm like, this is what I want to make. He's like, all right, well, if you want to make that, it's going to be this, because I didn't do like here's my body. And then, I'm going to make the accessories different. The heads different. It's like, they're completely unique other than their bases. and then obviously the character variants share stuff, but like Sting Cobra and Shamumu are like 100% unique. So that's been a fun financial challenge to figure out.
By the way, I should mention that I have the link in the description below for those of you who are watching and want to go to the Kickstarter and kind of check it all out.
Thanks. Yeah, try to make it fun. There's the toy commercial. There's also a talking head video. I try to make informative and fun too, because I know like people talking about their stuff can be a yawn fest. So I try to make it as fun as I can for being a talking head video. So, and even all the write-ups, try and like insert personality into them. But yeah, so that's the slide that kind of shows like the menu of the main offerings on the Kickstarter campaign. So we have Shamu and Sting Cobra, like the main versions. Then we have Bulltooth and Venom Nom, which are their like unique part variants. So they each have a new head. Bulltooth has a new weapon. In that picture, it shows that Venom Nom actually has a unique cannon weapon, but Sting Cobra is going to come with that same hand and weapon just in his colorway. So Sting Cobra's Venom Nom's only new part is his head, because that tail is so much. Like I'm trying to balance everything out, you know. So Shamumu, because doesn't have a giant scorpion tail thing, so like I can get away with like, oh, add another weapon. But and then for paint variants, I want to make them like more of a meaningful thing, not like, oh, I'm just doing these because I, you know, whatever. So the first paint variant for Shamumu is a color. I'm calling it the color swap variant. So it's Shamumu and Sting Cobra colors. That way, if you get Shamumu, like, and you want, and you know, or if you get Sting Cobra, then you want to have like his parts on him and have them match. You can get the Shamumu and the
that I like that. That's a nice touch.
I thought it was a fun idea, you know. And then also like then the Sting Cobra and Shamumu colors, because I love Shamumu with like Sting Cobra's arm. So, oh, thanks. Yeah, Venom Nom gets a lot of love. So, yeah, a lot of people love him. So I try to make him derpier, like all the variant, like Bulltooth and Venom Nom. I try to make their faces like slightly derpier, so you can't tell here because it's the one side, but his one eye is bulging, his other one's kind of squinting. He's biting on his tongue essentially, so it's kind of a derp. And then Bulltooth, kind
of like one of those ugly dogs, right? Like,
yeah,
like the dog in Deadpool or whatever. Yeah.
Dude, great. I didn't even think that, Phil. That's perfect. I'm gonna call him the ugly dog head variant. Yeah. Like the tongue's just dangling. But yeah, the little buddy will come in a paint variant too with each of those guys. They like complement and work with them. But yeah, that's Bulltooth. So he has the nose knocker, and he's like kind of, his eyes are kind of like it's hard to tell from the one view, but when you turn around him, he's just like, you know, just kind of like a deer in headlights, but trying to look cool. You know, if that makes sense. So a little bit of a
dirt. But that's like a shark, you know, like it's kind of.
His colors are like every trapper keeper I had in the 90s. So
thanks, man. Yeah, that was Irwin. We actually took the Shamumu art and just did color variants first, just like look what other colors are cool. And then we later figured out like, oh, let's do a different head sculpt on this. And we actually took Shamumu's color variant for this guy, made Bulltooth. We took another one that was red, and we made that for Venom Nom because that color combo was so cool. I'm like, we have to use that for someone. So when we did the Sting Cobra variant, I'm like, that's the color combo I want. So
let's see. Let's go through some more of these.
Yes, that's just Shamumu and Sting Cobra colors. So that's a Photoshop, you know, kind of goal of what we're going for. And you can see actually the details on the hooves, and now he has on his horn, he has a couple like barnacles. So I just want to like push the details like a little bit more. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit. You know,
you got to kind of tell me if any of these are like stretch goals, or I'm not entirely sure on that stuff.
No, so it's all available now. I want to eventually figure out stretch goals. I'm like, hey, I know I like the main versions in Bulltooth and Venom Nom, but just to get to the goal, I want to make all like as much available as possible, and then figure out cooler stuff for the stretch goals. So not cooler, just more cool.
I do see a comment from Eric Miller down there. Says, I'd love to see a left arm with the pincer that matches the size of the right arm. That'd be kind of a neat little add-on or something.
Yeah, we've talked about that. It's just like, that's just such like another tool. It's such a big piece. If we do make it so that the wrists are identical on both hands, and I might treat that as like a weapon, you know, kind of an add-on thing. But right now it's like, I kind of designed and sculpted it so it just goes with that right arm. But that's something that's come up a couple times. Like, that'd be a cool thing. It would just be an expensive tool to make it a mirror match. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
kind of trying to figure out, like, well, obviously if like things really take off, I've thought of that because I'm like, that'd be like 2 giant pincer arm things would be awesome. And then doing like different colorways where it's like, hey, let's see Shamumu and Ven Nom Nom's colors or something weird like that, or Bulltooth and Ven Nom Nom. I love Ven Nom Nom's colors. I want to see like other characters in that colorway. So yeah.
I love the color scheme on this one. That's so good.
Thanks, man. It's we'll see. I mean, I gotta talk to the factory because so with Sting Cobra, the way we're setting up the paint masks, he'll be like injected one color, and then we'll be painting the tips of his pincers and spikes dark. So this guy, I'm not sure how successful it'll be, like injecting him darks, and that's mostly his color, or if we inject him white, and then we paint the dark, but then it'd be like not using the same paint mask for the pincers. So that's where I gotta talk with Chris and see like what's possible and how we get the best result without making a whole new effort, but like you know what I mean? So it's not like his oh dang, I thought I could do this, and becomes like a whole unique paint setup, you know. So that's the fun part. You learn a lot when you do these things. You learn about production, you learn about business and finances and logistics. A lot of people I think jump into a Kickstarter like, I have an idea and I can make a prototype. It's like that's like 10% of the battle. The other 90% is, you know, production, shipping, logistics, the business, customer service, returns, fulfillment. Oh my god, you guys have to do all the not fun stuff still. This is the fun part. Too much not fun stuff.
So you got some glow in the dark options here.
Yes, there'll be injection glow, just like what, you know, 4 Horsemen do, Super 7 does, NECA does. So we'll inject it, and then we'll be doing a limited paint palette on it, so you get those like different value hits and stuff in them, but probably won't be as many colors as the mainstay version. But it'll look cool hell. So I did a Photoshop to show like the intention of the end look. Obviously it might change a little bit, but I think they're gonna look awesome. I try not to do glow in the dark unless like it makes sense, but I'm like, it's just too cool. And I know a lot of people really go in for like their glow in the dark collections.
Jeremy does. Glow is going to be sweet.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Here's a question. Do humans exist in the world of Monstors?
No. This is my world is like to oversimplify history, right? Dinosaurs existed, boom, comet killed them, then humans existed, then boom, something kills us, then a billion years later, Monstors exist. So this is like post-human history. It's on Earth, and actually the continent, we're working on a map that rejiggers all the continents in like a new thing. And so that's why we have things like the anchor and the cowbell. It's like there's some things that kind of like carry over, but I don't know. I got all the classic Bucky O'Hare toys, and like the one I don't like out of all of them is the main boy. I'm like, I like all the creatures and like I don't want a boring human in this world, you know. When I go for Ninja Turtles, I go for Ninja Turtles, not like here's my April O'Neil. I mean, I know some people love April, but I'd rather go for like a cool barbarian warrior animal chick than a human, you know. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think I should go for a human in here? Or?
No,
I'm with
not
you.
in this style. No.
Yeah.
And then the Kickstarter exclusives. Chris pushed these on me. He's like, you have to do Kickstarter clear.
This is such a Chris thing.
This is a very Chris.
Yeah. Very Chris.
So these were digital renders we did in Keyshot. So my sculptor knows Keyshot. I don't. So we're able to actually kind of like, because my Photoshop of like what blue translucent was going to look super dumb. So I'm like, can you just do this for me? And he just knocked these out. And I'm like,
this is mind blowing. This looks like a prototype. It looks like a figure. It looks like a, I can't believe that, because it looks very realistic in terms of like the transparency, in like the thinner parts are transparent and the thicker parts are darker, right? Like
even where like the light hits it and stuff.
Yeah, that's eShot is basically a program where you can set a 3D object inside of a room. We can say how big the room is, how the light like bounces, and you say middle of the day, summer, 5 p.m., northern I don't know, like there's all these things. And then just the material, like, oh, blue translucent. How translucent do you want it to be? How thick do you want the material to look? So he knows that stuff. I don't. I'm super oversimplifying it, but that's like the ideas. And for him, it was easy because it's all the same thing. A lot of people that use that go for these like really realistic setups and environments with multiple materials. I'm like, I just want blue clear and green clear. That's it. So,
yeah.
And the little buddies will come in that same color. He's actually going to update the render so I can show the little buddies in the same treatment. So the exact same color. Then we'll get like a unique color or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Got some stickers there.
Sticker pack for anyone who like can't afford a toy and wants to add a little bit to the campaign and wants a cool pack of stickers. It's actually like, I should sell those stickers, and they're big. They're actually like, here's my Berserker sticker. You can actually,
oh wow,
you know what I mean? It's like, it's a chunky sticker. So this isn't like a little sticker. This is like sticker, you know?
Are those characters that you're hoping to get to, like the ram and the bear?
Yeah. So Berserker is character 3 and Woolly Mammoth is character 4. And those wouldn't be in this campaign. I would save that for like wave 2 Kickstarter, just because I know it's like when, I've been, doing this for 18 years. I know what it's like when you bite off more than you can chew. I'd rather do the things I've promised, do them right, and then deliver them and learn from that. And then hopefully do the next stuff better, cheaper, more efficient, make it still work with the other stuff. So I don't want to, it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, another character unique head variant. Like I'm probably planning one of those as like another or as a stretch goal, but for totally unique characters, I think I would say that for a future effort. But on the talking head video not that you guys have to pull this up, but for anyone who's watching in the talking head video, I show like the world map we have sketched out, and I show like the 20-ish characters we've designed, and they're various from like finished to like work in progress, which shows like the variety of stuff we want to do in this world, from traditional animal mashups like the ones you have here. Berserker's like our first bigger character. So like if you think of like the other characters like this, Berserker will be like slightly inflated like a boss, And then we have like flying characters, we have a jungle character, we have like a bug mutant character to kind of channel that weird, gross early 90s, like Madball, creepy crawlers, kind of gross out stuff. And then, we just have a bunch of fun. We have like a small, cute, furry guy. We have a girl monster plan, just not right away. I want to focus on like the beastly buff brawler bros and find a meaningful way to introduce like a female character that can like kick the snot out of these guys. I don't want to just like force her in too quick. So I have a fun idea for one I'm excited about.
Did you trademark beefy buff brawler bros?
I haven't. I should. I mean, I got trademark registration on the Monstors logo, so
I
had to start on something, but I probably should do that one. Yeah, because it's good, catchy, right? These buff brawler bros.
That could be. Was that phrase in that video? It was.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch it
somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's in the beginning. Yeah.
Excuse me.
How dare you?
And then so here's the sort of breakdown of what you're thinking the parts might be, right?
Yeah, like in terms of like so it would come mostly assembled. Like probably the tail would be, back flat in a different thing. Like I think all of us have collected enough to kind of like know like, oh, the figure would come mostly assembled, and maybe this like the weapon would be off on the side and the tail would be separate. Yeah. But so Sting Cobra and his variants would have like the two left hands, so like the hand that can hold the weapon, and the pincer claw. I actually updated this recently, like probably 3 hours ago, to show also the weapon that and the little buddy that he comes with, just so it's like perfectly clear. Like all versions of Sting Cobra come with these, then Nom Nom comes with these. All versions of Shamumu come with these. Bulltooth comes with these, because I want to make it as clear as possible. But yeah, with the interchangeability, like Curtis was talking about earlier, right now it's arms for arms and heads for heads. Like, you could put Shamumu's head on Sting Cobra's body and the arms can all swap, but we're looking at the waists are plus or minus the same size, so we might make it so the waist can swap between the two characters. Sting Cobra's tail connection, we're making the same size as the arm connections. We're going to probably make that so like you take the tail off Sting Cobra and put on Shamumu's arm, you have like a scorpion tail arm thing. I thought it'd be kind of a fun, weird trick. So we're trying to like see what we can do is like, what's the main stuff we can advertise, and what are the fun bonuses people can be surprised about?
Nice. And then here's the other one.
Yeah. So heads, I know a lot of people, you get two camps with articulation. Some people are like hardcore, like super articulation people, and I get it. Like they want all joints, double jointed elbows, knees, or whatever for superposability. And then You have the people that are more forgiving and can appreciate this for what it is. And I'm going for like I call it classic inspired toys, where it's like swivel head, swivel arms, swivel waists. I'm not going for leg articulation because to me, like a lot of my Ninja Turtles He-Man figures just like fall over when you try and like pose the legs. It's like, what's the point of that? So I want them to be sturdy. And I don't have any plans for like mounts or vehicles anytime soon or at all. Like maybe there would be a mount later down the road, like something they would ride. But for now, I just want to focus on doing what I think works best for this and do the best version of that. And I want these to be stable, standing, so you can pose them. And then if an earthquake happens, everything else falls and they're still standing, you know? So trying to make them earthquake proof.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then here they are next to a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Fun little, just a show. There's a couple Mythic Legions in there too, not just vintagey stuff, you know? Just to show how it like fits in your collection. Because to me, that's an important thing. It's not just about like this line, but how it fits into like the stuff I have and the stuff a lot of other people have.
That's a pretty wild shelf right there.
So this might have been staged in my living room for a photo shoot. It's not my everyday setup, but I just went. I was like, how can I make this as crazy as possible? So there's like a bunch of stuff. There's like the Cthulhu glow in the dark Glyos character in the back right corner riding a Godzilla Cookie Monster mashup that I have, and a couple little buddies on top. Like there's the Gorilla. Sergeant Bananas or Gorilla. Forget Sergeant Bananas. I think that's the Ninja Turtles guy name. But his little monkey buddy is like riding, you know, the Street Shark's head, and Earthworm Jim's little dude is on top of the Frost Giant guy from Mythic Legion. So I try to just like mix it up and make it fun. Like Bucky O'Hare is riding inside of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, you know, from so it's like I just want to be like as fun and as mashup-y as the figures themselves. So that was a fun shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the slideshow there. Was there anything else while I sort of have the Kickstarter there that you want to let's pull that up for a second. Let's do this. And I want to pull it, hang on, let me just get it straightened out here.
The Kickstarter interface is like so weird with like the side tiers and the middle campaign thing, then the left.
Yeah, and then it disappears. Like I feel like I need it here. Okay. Okay. So you are halfway, 120 goal, and you're at 67. So you recently passed the halfway point. 20 days to go. Did this started 10 days ago? Is this a 30-day thing?
Yeah, last Tuesday it started, and by this Tuesday we hit 50%. So that felt like a good like swing upward was hitting 50%. But everyone tells me you get a lot at the beginning, you get a lot at the end, and the middle is just like it's just like a grueling grind. So I've been ready for it, you know.
Is this also available with retailers? Like is Big Bad Toy Store or any of those carrying these as well?
Just today, Curtis, we Big Bad. So I talked with Joel last week. We had a great call, and he's super supportive. Obviously, he like really helped the Brutal Realm guys out get their funding for their stuff, and so we had a great talk last week about how to make it a win-win thing. So I got him everything this morning. He's like, I can go up today with this stuff, and we're like, all right, let's do it. Went up today. It's on the main page of Big Bad, because at the end of the day, like the goal is to let as many people know as possible that this exists. Right. So Big Bad obviously is like insano with their marketing machine. And then, you know, some people are just going to buy from Big Bad no matter what. You could tell them like, I have the best price, whatever on Kickstarter, but they're comfortable with Big Bad. I totally get it. I'm the same way with some stuff. So it's just like, dude, it's there. I know some people will, when they see me and they see me talking like that guy is cool, I like him, I want to support him. They would jump in and support the Kickstarter. Plus, the price is cheaper on the Kickstarter, even though. So it's like that's the like where the scales kind of even out is like it's cheaper on the Kickstarter, but like our shipping costs plus or minus might be about $10 for one figure, like in the US, and $20 international. With Joel and Big Bad, it's like gonna be $59 for the figure and $5 shipping with your other stuff. So it's gonna be about within $1 range of each other for the one figure. But then I'm also offering discounts on like, oh, you buy the set, they're $55 each, but if you buy a set, they're $99 on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
All the all-in bundles too that we have a lot of different all-in options. They're they keep getting cheaper and then taking discounts off of the discounts. So
Right.
literally the cheapest way you can get those all-in things is like through that. Like if you want, like I want one in every character. It's like I literally did the math. Like, all right, well, if they bought this, they bought this, they bought this, well, that all add up to, and I kept removing $5 from each tier. So it's like I put what the retail, like what the value is, and then what you're paying, so you can see what your savings are on those tiers.
Before we kind of jump to that stuff, I just wanted to draw attention to this is a good, this is a good shot right here. If it's something that's hard to look at like 30 figures on a shelf, but this gives you a good sense, right, of the scale.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't want to hide it. I want to be like as clear as possible. It's like here it is with a Ninja Turtle, and that's the, a storage shell, red colored belt, Raph, and then a Triclops, classic He-Man figure. No, like big weird stuff. And then Street Shark and an Extreme Dinosaur, 2 other huge inspirations. Those are like the 4 main things for this line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep kind of.
They're
let's
quite
scroll
beefy.
down.
Thanks. They're beefy and they're buff and they're brawler. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you buy one figure, the other figure, so you buy them individual. Then there's like the set I was talking about, which comes, the donation sets. This one I'm really proud of is like the idea of like, if these aren't your thing, but you're doing okay financially, you want to maybe support the campaign, you can buy. So a set normally for a consumer would be $99, but donation set's $80. So for $80, you can buy a set. I take it and I donate it to like a Toys for Tots or a children's hospital, some sort of charity.
Dude,
my margins are so thin, actually lose money on those up until I hit like a certain quantity. So, and then I make a little money. Then any money I make from that tier, I would put back into more sets to donate for charity.
Right.
So
That's
literally $0 goes in my pocket. So I want to, give people another option. So I'm really proud of that. Then for every set I sell, so whether it's a set like this or I sell a Shamu and a Sting Cobra, I count that as a set too. When I sell 20 sets, I donate a set to the same charity. So I'm trying to really make this about like other ways to give back, get people excited about like, they're supporting a good cause when they buy through the Kickstarter. So
that's awesome.
Thanks.
Let's get the double. Let's get the 4-pack, and then you got Bulltooth.
That nose knocker.
Then Nom Nom.
He's a fun one to say, right? Then Nom Nom. He's like say like a dumb caveman, I see his name. And then you get the set, same discount as the original set.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the color variants.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see people customize these.
Yeah.
Like yeah. I mean, this is going to appeal to, I think, the Mythic Legion people that, break things apart and swap them around. And then they're going to see like that Ven Nom Nom and go, man, I want to paint this like red and black or whatever the case may be. And yeah, I could totally see these being customized. Yeah,
that's the point too. Like when people who might not be as customizable friendly, you know what I mean? Like not as advanced to like want to customize, it gives them that in because they're going to be like, I can do this. And then, so that one was just like, I have some people that want to buy just the little minifigures. So that's not just an add-on anymore, but you can just pledge and get just the 2 guys. If you like collect the OMFGs or muscle figures, you can get the flesh tone variants of just the starfish guy and the little camel spider dude.
Get a weapon set here.
Yeah. So we're working on a color render so people can see what that looks like. Cause it's like, gray weapons. Like they're going to be painted. I promise, they'll come colored.
Okay. So there you go. So 214, the all-in-one, standard all-in-one, 214, which would be a 245 value if you were to buy part, separately.
Yeah. You almost get like a free whole figure out of that,
Right.
Almost. Not quite. Yeah. Later on you do though. If you buy more.
Yeah.
So it's like the 2-in, or you want doubles of everything. There's that.
All in. Yeah.
So call it standard. Then the next one's bronze. You get bronze 01, which adds in the color swap variants.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's all it adds in. Everything else is the same. Then all in bronze 2 is you get double of all that stuff. And then like silver then introduces, it's all the 6 same core characters, and silver introduces the glow in the dark. So you get one version of all those, and silver 2, you get 2 of all those. So I try to make it like clean, not like this confusing, like what am I doing?
Right.
and then gold introduces the Kickstarter exclusive.
The steps forward make a ton of sense. It's
Yeah.
a logical progression.
The thing I hated was on the right side, like where the tiers are listed. Like when you go to back stuff, it won't let you organize the order. It just puts in the financial order.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah,
it's like I spent all this time figuring out this clean flow, and then all the pledges are like all over the place. I'm like, why can't you be in order? So I'm glad I have
that's
the
a
middle
gripe of
section.
mine. For that, like for a lot of Kickstarters, it happens like that. Where you're like, what the heck? Like everything's like out of order when you go to back.
Are all the figures, including like the color variants and glow in the dark and stuff, available individually, or are there some of them that are only available as a set?
No, they're all available individually. Only some are available as a discounted set. So like the glow in the dark, the color swap, and the Kickstarter exclusives, you can only buy individually price. You can't buy like, oh, here's the $99 set version of them. So I just try to find some ways to make it like, hey, it's really affordable for the mainstay versions, then these like limited run variants, it's a bit different financially. So I'm like, I can only make this make sense as like individual, not like lose another $11 for that one. And then there's retailer specials in case anyone has a small shop and they're like, hey, I like these, I want to carry them. I offer them like wholesale discount depending on the quantity you get. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Retailer special 2, 3,
and then artist credits at the end. It's always important for me to all the design team are awesome. The sculptors had an awesome painter. Chris Garwich is helping with the production. And then the story and lore to me is also important. So like Eric Barnes and Tom and Vincent really help kind of like flesh out this world. The logo design is like one of my favorite things ever. I'm so glad I got to work with my buddy Shane on that. And then, Lauren's been helping me with the Kickstarter. Then just obviously my wife, my friends, my parents, my family, just couldn't do it without them. And then also special shout out again to Eric Treadaway from Force. He's been like a big brother to me, just super supportive. I see my PowerCon. The last one is when he forced Chris Garwich on me. I'm like, Eric, when are these coming? When's the Kickstarter? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't know how to do this in China. And I was literally having lunch with him and his family and a few people like in the green room at PowerCon, and he points to the guy next to me who I just met. He's like, you're working with Chris. I didn't know who Chris was. I was like, hi, Chris, you want to work with me on this? He's like, sure, I guess. That's literally how I was introduced.
Nice.
Eric's like, you're working with him. I want these toys. I'm like, all right, cool. And so Eric's been awesome. David Silva of Creative Beast Studios has been amazing mentor with us too. He's ran 4 different Kickstarters for his his dinosaurs, his Beast of the Mesozoic, his Cryptozoic recent one. He's offered me so much insight into how these Kickstarters are and things to expect and be ready for. And I don't know. So I've just been very fortunate that have had such amazing guys like Chris and Dave. Eric and David, who are obviously like powerhouses in the industry, just kind of like give up their time and their resources to help me out, and couldn't do it without the village.
Are you coming out to Legions Con or no?
I want to so bad. I might. It's just Designer Con is the following weekend. Actually, I have a booth at Designer Con. I have to drive to Vegas for that one. Before it's been in Anaheim, so it's like just down the road from me. But I have to like do a day trip. Drive a whole day out there. Yeah. So I've been offered a place to crash at Legions Con, which is great. So I would just have to pay for my flight to get out there, which makes it a lot more maybe I could do that. So I really want to go. I would love to go. Even if not having a table, I would love to just go. Maybe by then I'll have some like something from the factory. I could bring my backpack, just show people, look at these things.
Yeah, totally.
Are you guys going?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's one of those cons that once you go, you'll never miss it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's the people are amazing. The show's amazing. So
that's cool. I need to go. Plus, not having PowerCon this year, it's like I'm going through some major like withdrawals of like I'm missing something in my life.
This was gonna be the first year I went. So Chris and Larry are the other co-hosts of the show. Chris actually recently took some time off from the show. But last year we were talking right after PowerCon, we were like, we're all going to meet together for the first time. We're going to do it at PowerCon next year. And then they delayed it the following year. But Chris is actually going to Legions Con this year. So I'm super pumped about that.
Oh, cool. That's the first time you guys are going to hang out in real life.
In person. Yeah. Chris has been in San Diego, I think, since we started the show in 2018. Since I think he moved there like right around then. And Larry's in North Carolina, and I'm in.
You still working on Larry, trying to get him to come too?
I'm trying, but he's a tough one to scheduling wise. But anyway, let's watch this one more time. I gotta watch it one more time, and then we'll move on to the other toy news and
the
stuff.
kids do a great job in this, by the way.
They did. We had to edit around some stuff though, for sure. They did great. There's people say work with kids can be hard. So I'm glad we cut. I'll say that. Yeah.
Here we go.
An epic new toy line of beastly buff brawler bros battling it out to see who will reign supreme. Monsters!
I'm Shamumu, the oceanic battle boss. And I'm Sting Cobra, the venomous spike scoundrel.
Who will win this epic battle between the first two monsters?
You're going down, Sting Cobra. Not a chance with that ugly mug.
Monsters come with interchangeable parts so you can create your very own monster! Like this. Or this. Or this. Or this. Don't just get one. The more monsters you have, the more monsters you can make. And every monster comes with their own little buddy. Oh, aren't they cute? But in the end, only one can reign supreme.
You haven't seen the last from me, Shamumu.
By land, sky, or sea, monsters battle by the law of tooth and claw, as is the way of monsters! Collect them all, each sold separately. New from Igo stuff.
Got the stuff?
So good.
That was fun. A couple other fun things about that was like the cinematographer guy. I'm like, like the 2 nights before the shoot, I'm like, do you have a smoke machine? We need a smoke machine. He's like, oh yeah. It was like a last second thing, and he brought this thing, and I was in charge of the smoke. I was like, what? We're just like, we just over smoked and we're like setting off the fire line. It wasn't real smoke. It's like this water soluble thing, but it still sets off smoke alarms.
Yeah.
So we had to like, anytime we use it, we had to open up the back door so it would like get out and ventilate. But yeah, that, and then my buddy Darth, I used to work with the sideshow. He made the set. So I hit him up 10 days, 8 or 10 days before the shoot. I'm like, can you build me a volcanic mountain set in a week? And he crushed it. He did all out of foam. Gave me the sculpt relief back. It lights up. Gave me 2 little islands for the figure to sit on, then a bunch of like random debris just to scatter throughout, just to build up the thing. So a couple people really, like Darth in particular, really pulled a hero play for that thing. So I was excited.
Nice.
Yeah. But thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me talk about my new toy line. You know,
Looks awesome.
Yeah,
here
it's
to
pretty
take
cool.
down the 4 horsemen, the mythic legions. I'm kidding. I'm here to fight them.
All right. Speaking of,
Yeah.
so let's get into some toy news here. So the retailer wave, I think we mentioned this pretty recently. Like this is on the water now. So this is going to ship end of November. This is pretty sweet. This is going to be a fun wave to get in hand. You got the 3 Figura retailer versions, and then you've got the mythic and the cosmic figures there, and then that cosmic figure being the tribute to
Fisher Price.
Fisher Price, yeah.
Well, that's glad to know that. The top 3 were announced before, right? Like they've shown those before? Because I feel like
they've shown all of this. So,
Gotcha.
but the top 3 are already released in a different version, and so these are the variants getting out now for just kind of like, you know, getting more out there, and especially internationally, these retailer waves are good for that, because when they do a Figura drop, it's in some of the mythic and cosmic drop. Well, maybe not cosmic yet, but some of the mythic stuff, like the reinforcements, like those things are like store horsemen only. and it's not a great, like the shipping internationally isn't great. So it's nice to see stuff like this get out to retailers so that there's like distribution internationally.
Yeah.
Well, plus it's one of those things where when they do the first drop, if you're in the Mythic Legion community, like, and you're there and you get it. But a lot of times, a lot of toy collectors will find out about these after they're already sold out. And it's like,
a week later, totally.
And this gives them an opportunity to get a version of it in their collection. So,
or you're like me, where sometimes I try and I'm on the West Coast. So when it drops, it's like they're like, 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm like, what? I wake up at 8 a.m. I'm like, I'm awake. It's like all sold out. I'm like, what? What about California?
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about these is they usually do the two, right? They do the one in the morning and the one in the night, it's just nice for different time zones.
I love waking up Saturday with a exciting heart attack of, did it sell out? Am I going to get it in the evening? It happens. It's jerks. Yeah.
All right, and then they also announced the Armory. A lot of people have talked through this on their shows. I think there's like one of the reasons why I didn't do a breakdown video was because like a bunch of people beat me to it, and it's like there's plenty of breakdowns now. I think there's at least 3 breakdowns on various channels. So there's that, and but we can kind of like go through it briefly. And so what you do at Legions Con that morning, so like Saturday morning, when you're in line, they're going to hand out tickets for this specific thing. They're going to be like they're going to have times on them, like time windows where you can go and do the pop and swap purchase. And you start by picking a head. So there's 20 different heads, which is the most. Like there's 5 different heads for each colorway. That's the most of any of the tiers. Like there's only 3 chests, right? And like 4 armor sets or whatever. But so 20 is like the number where if I don't think anybody would be able to do this because there's only 2 possible days of 2 each. But if you wanted everything, 20 would be your goal, or at least one of every part, right? So you pick a head, then you pick a torso, then you choose the arms and legs.
I like that shot, just the arms and legs. It looks like a weird person, that just it's like this thing.
It's funny that like some of these I can't zoom in, but some of these they accidentally left the loincloth piece in the image, like in the top there.
Top center one, that's funny. It's like the ball joint there too, because it looks like a little head. Like they have these like arms, right? Tiny head.
All you gotta do is attach the arms, and there you go.
Yeah, this is why you're covering it, because we have no one's had this kind of coverage before. We're talking about the tiny heads coming out of the waist. Yeah.
Customize it, put some eyes.
Dude, that would be
and then the armor set, which is the waist piece, the shoulder armor, and the loincloth piece there. Funny enough, the one on the left and the one next to it, they have the same waist armor piece. If you look at that, it's the Red Shield Soldier waist armor piece. So there's really only 3 waist armor pieces technically. But each armor set comes with different shoulder armor and different loincloths. So there's that. I kind of wish they had put the Vorthog waist piece as the evil or whatever, like the one with the evil stuff. That would have been cool. And then this comes with every set. So like you pick your, was it 4 rounds of parts, and then this you'll get added on. And then these, which are only at Legions Con, you pick one of those to add on as well. Just sort of a gimmick gag item.
Who would not go for the duck? Or is that a cat? Or is that a dog?
It's a dog, like a fox, like a little dog.
Who wouldn't go for an animal, little buddy? Who would be like, what? I want the bundle of sticks. It's like,
I want the peach. That's the one I would go with. Yeah,
the golden peach is kind of cool because I feel like it. You get that, and you can put that with your golden Monkey King. Because I wonder what color. I can't think of what color peach it comes with, but so that's it. They will have some combinations of these, like I think 4 pre-made combinations of these, one in each colorway, available next year online. So you're not going to have access to every single thing, but there's going to be at least some of these parts will be available online as full figure sets. And I'm wondering if they could do like a swap out head with those sets, right? Like there's nothing stopping them from saying, okay, so this green one comes with 2 of the green heads or something, just to get more pieces in there.
And there is
oh, sorry, Curtis. Go
I was just gonna say, I know you guys talked about it on the lounge on Monday, but there is that app out there that Kirby put together that kind of helps you visualize what these things will look like, so you can make your selections and stuff. So that's been posted in a bunch of different places in the community, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe somebody who's in the chat can throw it in the throw the link in the chat. And I kind of went through, like, I was thinking about, like, okay, so if you wanted to get one of everything, you'd have to pick a color and be like, okay, I want to try to get one of every part in green. And so I imagined that and how that would roll out. And you'd have to be at intern. So there's going to be an opportunity to do it at intern for those going to intern for a day on Thursday. And then on Saturday, there's another round. And on Sunday, there's another round. And you can get 2 per day, essentially. There might be the possibility
and there's a round for vendors.
So so if you're a vendor and an intern, you could go even deeper into this.
Yeah.
But I imagined 3 opportunities here, and this is I just picked green, and this is using that app, the Kirby app. Like, this is these are images from that. So these 2 are fully unique, right? And then, so this would be like day 1. Like, I would get this. If I wanted to get every green part, day 1, I would get these 2 versions. So I have sort of like the fully evil armor guy on the left, and like sort of fully valiant knight guy on the right, or as close to it as you can get. And then next up, I have like the cloth goods guy on the left. And then we start to get into some repeated pieces on the right here. Like, that torso is repeated and the evil arms and legs are repeated and stuff, but you have to get the other head and the other armor set. And then this would be the 5th. So this would be day 2. And then day 3, you would get 1 more and you would be complete. Now, everything is reused from the previous ones except for the head, because there's 5 heads. The 5th figure is how you get the 5th head. And so this is how it would look. This would be like completing green would be possible if you have 3 chances to do it. You could do 2, 2, and 1, and you would have every green part plus some reused, plus some like repeat parts. And you can see those repeat parts here on this image. I did them in black or gunmetal there. So, I mean, if you wanted, you could like, get some other colors in there this way. But that was kind of like my goal, was to figure out like how you could try to complete at least 1 color if you were going to go for it, which is actually something I may choose to do. I think it would be kind of neat to just have to have all the different versions in green,
Yeah. I wonder how many, if anyone's done the math of like, based on all the parts, how many different versions you could come up with. Because I think
it was like 20,000 or something like that, right?
Like 230,000.
200,000.
If you include the gold parts. Without the gold parts, I think it's like 46,000 or something.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, because like I remember this thing in junior high or high school. I forgot which math class it was, but I remember this was something that stuck with me. It was like how many different license plate number combinations there were, because you take the amount of options for slot A, amount of options slot. So it's like 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, and then that's how you get your how many it is. I'm like, oh, so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I wonder how many. It's like 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. But
I want to just point out I missed Rob's super chat earlier. I think it was when I had the other screen pulled up and I was looking at 2 screens. I apologize, Rob, but Dave, it says, were you at DCon 23? I feel like I met you through a friend, Aaron McKnight. I could be wrong.
McNaught, yeah.
McNaught, sorry.
Yeah, no, Aaron's a good buddy of mine. He helps me engineer all my personal projects. Probably met Rob. I was definitely at DesignerCon 23. I've been going to every one for a while. And yeah, if you know Aaron, we probably met Rob. I'm bad at recognizing people through their avatars. I notice people the real fit. No, I'm kidding. But also names, I'm really bad. I'm like, you know this guy? I'm like,
come on, a monocle? Like you would totally remember a guy with a monocle and a top hat.
Reverse AI it or something. No, it's just like when I see people, I'm like, I do this at cons. I'm like, I know I've met you. I just point at them. I'm like, how do I know you? And then we just, so probably definitely met Rob. I'm always at DesignerCon. I'm the
either that or the Monopoly guy, one of the two. So.
Dang it! Yeah,
there were two guys with monocles.
Dang it!
I don't remember which was which. And then I'm assuming this is Van because I saw Jordan separately in here. But Bill, when was the last time you had a bad hair day? I'd never have bad hair days. Come on,
just keep it back. It's easy.
Alpha par
yeah,
for the win.
I just keep it back. That's the way to go.
How long is it to get it down?
It's maybe like slightly shorter than yours.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So what was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah. So I think this may be what I end up going for, but like once I see them in person, it's probably going to, any sort of plan is probably going to go out the window and be like, I need that piece right there. Like the purple cloth or something. I'll be like, I gotta have that. And then it's just going to like throw me off and I'm going to be like, bashing while we go.
The one piece of advice that I would throw out to people, I know they say step one, start with the head. I would not do that. I would make the head the last because the head doesn't necessarily work with some of like the leather armors and stuff. It doesn't look great. And if you're going to customize these, odds are the first thing you're going to replace is the head. You're going to, get a painted head at Legion's Con from a vendor table and put that on there. So I would personally start with like the torso or the armor, build it out, and then make the head like your last pick on there.
The cherry on top is what you're saying.
There you go.
Build a cake, make sure the ice, and then the icing comes later.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's those. Just shout out. I don't have any giveaways today. Again, I am gonna like end this stream. I'm gonna go pack a bag. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna drive to Western Mass, and we're gonna like have a whole weekend. So I just not gonna have time to like mail things away. So, but just a shout out to the channel members, always appreciative. And we had a new member, Joe Tavano. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but he's an old friend of mine. If you know Retro Zap, those of you who've been around for a while, Joe is the owner of Retro Zap, and he recently became a member. He was watching last week and became a member. So shout out to Joe.
Awesome.
And of course, all of the super chats. And again, these super chat screenshots, for some reason, I can't ever get more than like 6 at a time. I don't know why. I'm hoping YouTube updates the like super chat history because I just only can see so many at a time. But I'm sure there were more last week because it was hopping. All right, so let's get into some other toy news. So this is Hayatoy's 112th. They're usually known for 118th, but they're doing Contra figures. These are based on a recent game, I guess. But like they're that recent game is inspired by the original, so they kind of have, notes of the original characters here. And I want to say this one's name is Bill. I remember that because my name is Bill. And then the other one might be Vance. This one, I want to say it's Vance. But those are two $50 1/12 scale Contra figures, which I feel like I've never seen a Contra action figure, and I'm a little surprised now, especially when you have like Golden Axe figures and
Yeah. It's such a ridiculous game. Like the Super Contra Super Nintendo is my favorite. It's just like
such a
takes the original Contra and just like amps it up to like a 20, just like in ridiculousness. It's such a fun game.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played them since back then, but they were fun games to play. They just played well,
Super Contra holds up to this day, I think. I played probably like 2 years ago, so like kind of recently.
Yep, nice.
Yeah, just remember, if you've got the spread, don't pick up the laser. Keep the spread.
Yeah,
the spread.
Yeah.
Ravenous says, "My life is like a video game." Interesting. Oh, NECA made some
Bunch of do-overs.
Secret codes.
Yeah, blow into the cartridge every once in a while when you're like,
And then we got some Mezco stuff. So this is their movie Deadpool figure. I want to say they've never done a movie Deadpool before. They've done a bunch of Deadpools, but I don't think they've ever done a movie Deadpool. So this I think is a first. It's got a lot of hands.
Yeah, a lot of those eyes look very similar. It's like one of those, like, when they're so zoomed out, a lot of them look similar, but I'm sure when you get them, it's like all these perfect subtleties. But I'm like, all right, cool, you get a bunch of eyes.
This is worth it just for the dog.
Yeah, there's that kind of dog we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, $100 for the deluxe edition Deadpool. It doesn't feel, I mean, the hands make it feel deluxe, but like it's not coming with a ton of stuff. I guess the pet too, like the dog, right? But
well, and the mug. Don't forget the mug.
But it's it's $100. Usually their deluxe figures are like 130, 150. So yeah. And then speaking of deluxe, we have Beetlejuice. Now this one feels deluxe and the price feels deluxe. But I mean, 4 heads. 4 heads. I'm not sure if that's 5 or I think it's probably 4.
I think it's 4. I think
it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one on his head is far left.
Yep. And then it comes with the gravestone with light up details, and it's got that head with the carousel with light up features, and it's got the shrunken head. Even though, like, I wish I had I didn't put the picture of him with the shrunken head on. It looks hilarious. Even though it's like he's wearing a different outfit at that point in the movie, but it's still funny to have that as like a figure. And then part of that carousel head look is the mallets.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff he comes with, and big items too, like that head.
Yeah,
that is insane.
That's loaded. Yeah. Those soft goods look great.
Yeah, I ordered this right away. I've been ordering my Mezco from Entertainment Earth, but yeah, I this is one it was like probably 4 years in a row where like I would throw out predictions. I'm in a fairly Mezco centric Discord server, and every year I would throw out we would throw out guesses like before New York Comic Con. And then every year I was like, I think this is the year they're going to do Beetlejuice. Probably going back 5-6 years, Finally happened.
Every year, eventually you'll be right.
Double down.
Was a movie.
Yeah.
And then they just today announced that they're going to do a 5 points 89 Batman retro card throwback, and that's how the card looks.
Looks
pretty
like
sweet.
Pre-order starts tomorrow. So
yep, pre-order tomorrow. I will be getting this as well.
Yeah, I think I got to get this too.
And then this is something I showed earlier. I showed one version of this. These are the Sea of Daggers figures. So this was a Kickstarter about a year ago, and now they're shipping, and they had their in-stock sale last night. A couple sold out, but there's still a few left. So this one is left. And I can't remember the names offhand right now, but he's left. And then this one is the Sea Zombie or something like that. He's left. And then this one that I showed earlier, the Pirates of, oh my God,
Dark Water
tribute, which they sent me an early look, and that picture on the right is my photo of that figure.
Cool.
And it gives you like a good sense of the articulation on these. For Glyos, these are highly articulated. It kind of reminds me of the other Toy Pizza figure, the one the Four Horsemen designed, the Goss armor. In terms of like, it has hinges, like a few of the joints have hinges, and then it's got that ball jointed neck which is a very like Toy Pizza thing. But yeah, these, I mean, just having them in hand, these are really nice figures.
How big is he, Bill? Tall?
4 inches. So it's, it's pretty much a true 1/18. It's not like, not like 3 3/4. It's like a full on 4-inch figure.
Gotcha. That'd be a good t-shirt. Full on 4-inch figure. Just wear. That's all it says. People are like,
what are you?
Okay. Just full on 4-inch figure. Be a good one. And that's yours, Bill.
Kind of continuing in the in the smaller scale. this 3 3/4 stuff. We have the vintage collection Tatooine playset. This has all of this is like, to me, vintage collection. This is kind of like what it's all about, are these kind of playsets. I have the Jabba's. I don't know if you can see it behind me. It's on the shelf behind me, but I have the Jabba's, the one with Han and carbonite hanging, which I love it. It's so slim. It can fit on a shelf. It's very versatile. And so they have a building front Tatooine set that comes with a Jabba.
Now
$60.
Trevor's watching us too, and he's not watching his own show. So,
Trevor, aren't you live right now? What's going on? And then these were all part of that Pulse Con, and they had a few figures. So we've got a clone trooper lieutenant. We've got Anakin from the Ahsoka show, but to me, it's just usable as like a prequel Anakin. It's an all new figure, they said. So this is one I think that's been kind of due for like a full on revamp. And then Indara from Acolyte, and
she dies before you even get her out of the package.
So. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Jeez.
And then you see her in flashbacks,
Yeah.
You just remember her. And then Luke. So this is another one. It's like long overdue, brand new Luke.
That looks great.
Yeah. This one. So Victoria's Cantina. I at first I was like, yes, finally another Andor figure. We now have like 3. But Victoria's Cantina pointed something out. She has, now just look at the proportions here. She has Admiral Piet's legs and arms. So they made a new female torso, but they just still gave her the male legs and arms. And if you kind of look at the size of the legs and stuff and like the size of the arms, it just looks ridiculous. It's kind of unfortunate that
it's hammer time.
Yes.
You're gonna jump off a building and eat some Taco Bell, right? Float down.
So that's a bummer that they did that. Like now I'm like, do I even want to?
I think you have to get it to support. I just worry like not supporting this, and then be like, oh, no one likes Andor. It's like, no, everyone loves Andor.
Andor's good. I know, but it's also like they're doing her dirty. It sucks.
Man, what a great villain she was! Holy cow, man! That show is so good. So good.
I love that show. Yeah, it's a very good rewatch too.
Yeah,
just because there's so many visual details, and it's just like a slow burn kind of thing where you just start to notice once you kind of have everything in your mind, you just start to look around and notice things. It's really neat.
Yeah.
And then Prince Zizor in the Black Series. So that's the first of a number of Black Series figures they showed. That's pretty cool. Prince Zizor from the Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So hopefully, a lot of times they do one in the Black Series and it comes to the vintage collection. I don't collect 6-inch Star Wars anymore. I couldn't do 3 scales. So I eliminated the middleman. But yeah. And then this one's from Jedi Fallen Order, or what is the name of the game? I don't play the games, but I think it's Jedi Fallen Order.
I don't know, but it better be cheaper than a regular figure.
Why, Curtis?
Why does he wear? My question is, why does he have a 2-handed weapon?
Because he's that good as a one-handed Jedi. He was the one-armed man,
Jedi Survivor. What did I say? Jedi Fallen Order. Is there 2 different games? Yeah, I think so. And then I think this was the exclusive for the event. It's like exclusive to Pulse, but a battle droid and Stap. And then there's the 6-inch Luke, which I think doesn't look quite as good as the TVC. And then Leia looks awesome, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they already did the TVC Leia. I still got to get that one. That's like out now. I need to grab that. Fallen Order is the first game. Survivor is the second. Okay, got it. The way he fights in the game is awesome. Basically like Kenshi from Mortal Kombat. Okay. I feel like this Leia's taking a lot of notes from, and Luke too, for that matter, from the Figure Arts ones, which is, a good idea because both of those were really good. I love the commando droids. I'm waiting for a redo in the 4-inch stuff. I have a couple of them, but they're not great. I'm hoping they'll do some there. I always wanted what.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I just love that pose. Like you could totally put him on your shelf like that, and he would not fall over.
No, not at all.
Yes. Tiptoe in the back. Yeah.
That's
cool. I forget his name, but he commands the galactic. Who is it? Oh yeah, Bakara. Yep.
Yeah.
He commands the what are they? The Galactic Legion. Probably like the coolest clone troopers ever with the purple stuff.
Yeah, the Galactic Marines. The
snow
trooper looking guys. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Someone should do a match with him with who's the guy from Mortal Kombat? Bakara with like the claws come out. Is it like Commander Bakara? Good one. Yes. Match those two together.
Yeah.
I mean, purple does make everything cooler. I don't know if you knew that, Bill.
Okay, and then moving into the 6 scale already. I mean, we had 2 weeks ago, our last episode, we were talking about the first 2 releases, Ponda Baba and Greedo, and then the sideshow, what do they call it? The Scum and Villainy line. So now they have Garand and I'm still like, we're going to get these in hand, or people who order them are going to get these in hand, and it's not going to feel like $270 worth of figure because just the track record of Sideshow does not give me confidence that I'm going to feel like this was worth the money. I'm probably still going to get Greedo. I'm probably an idiot for doing it, but I'm going to still get Greedo because he's like my favorite alien in Star Wars. But I mean, this does look good.
Oh, it looks great. That's a hefty price tag for, this deep of a cut. So.
Yeah. And like deluxe, maybe not deluxe, but like full-fledged Hot Toys with a head sculpt and everything are this price right now still. Like I would expect this to be like 200 or maybe even slightly less, but it's a little shocker on the price tag, but it's cool that they're doing the line. And they're saying it's limited, so maybe that's part of it. They're just not going to make a lot, and it's just, price wise, it just didn't work out. So, I still remember when we first got Garand in Power of the Force 2, that felt like a huge deal back then. Yeah. And then one more is the Hot Toys T800, which I already pre-ordered from my local guy, Underground Figures. And it's funny because this is $80 more, right? But I'm like, this is actually like a really good price, like in my mind.
Oh, it's got a ton of stuff.
It's loaded with stuff. It's got real leather, so you don't have to worry about that like flaking leather. It's got light up features. It's got 2 like very distinct looks, right? Like 2 very different like moments in the movie where he's partially battle damaged, and then so there's that close-up head sculpt, and then fully like missing the arm, his face is half off, like he's like fully battle damaged, this look, and that's close-up of that head.
Have they not done this? It feels like Hot Toys has done like everything, so this is like kind of an update.
This is a version 2. This is an update, of something they've done before. Yep. And then somebody said they're going to be doing not like an update of the non-battle damaged, like it's like coming right behind it. That's a rumor, but that's what I heard. And yeah, Trevor, instant pre-order. I agree.
I'm just waiting for that Terminator Genesis 6 scale line, right?
Yeah, okay.
Totally. Cool.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all the news.
There was one other thing that I know you don't do a whole lot of Marvel Legends on here, but they showed at that PulseCon, the Secret Wars, where they're doing the retro packaging and stuff, and it looks so good, man. Like if you were a fan of that line as a kid, like that, the packaging on there hits you right in the nostalgia. So
that feels like a heavy hitter that they could. I don't know if it's an anniversary of some sort or whatever, but it feels like not overdue, but they could have been like, they're holding that back and they're like, okay, let's unleash this, because it seems like such a an obvious big branding thing, you know?
Yeah, and they have the lenticular shields with the, you know, where it changes and stuff, and yeah,
That's nice.
it looks so cool.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's everything.
I mean, it's not a $350 figure. It's like $20, but it's still cool.
You buy a lot
I
of
mean,
them. for $350.
Yeah.
They're probably like
Yeah.
closer to 30 these days, but
I think I want to say it was 25, but I could be wrong.
25. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense. Thumbs up hand. Did it come with a thumbs up hand?
It should.
Let me see.
It doesn't. That's a travesty.
I don't
I
see
don't
When I was
see
at,
it.
when I was at Sideshow, we did a
Oh yeah, it does. Yep.
T100
There's a kid down there.
statue, and for the
Okay,
exclusive, we did a proximity base, like a little techie base with lava, and the thumbs up was coming out of it. So that was fun. We're like, we have to get that in there. It's like just a little
Yeah.
thing on its own.
Yeah. How many more days? 20 days, right? Still left to back the
Yeah.
Monsters.
I think October 9th or October 10th it's over. So yeah, just we're like, I think we're literally 1/3 done today. I think it's like today's the 10th day, so there's 20 days left.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah, it's weird. Feels like it's come and gone and it's already at the end, but it's not. You know, I'm like, oh, just time is.
What?
You know, like when we went through COVID together, and it's like, what happened to that year or two? It feels like that was the last 10 days. I'm like, what happened?
Man,
Didn't I
that
just
was a
watch this?
that was a crazy time to be a teacher. That was wild.
Yeah.
Keith does say it's the 40th anniversary of Secret Wars this year, so
Okay.
that makes sense then.
There you go. Yeah.
Wasn't that
Jeff was
one of the
saying it.
movies too? Like, didn't they announce like the Comic-Con, like the future Marvel movies? Wasn't Secret Wars one of
Yeah.
them? Or was it
Yeah, it's
not?
coming up in the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
couple of years. So
Yeah. 40 years. It's crazy.
mhm.
I know it makes me feel so old.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell my story about my concert I went to on Friday, but it became like an internet meme, so like everybody already knows about it. But I went to that Jane's Addiction concert on Friday.
You were there?
where they fought at the show. Like Perry was he was incoherent. Like he could not. Like it's not just. I don't buy this whole like it was like the monitor and he couldn't hear. Like he could not like remember the words. He couldn't keep in time at all. I guess keeping in time might have to do with that, but he looked like he was out of it, you know,
Yeah.
more than just drunk or high. Like he just looked bad. And then I was just like mind blowing that he just like started yelling F you, F you, F you to the audience. And then hustled over to Dave and then started punching him and pushing him and stuff. And then they yanked him off stage and we all just looked at each other and we were like, I guess
How
we're going
deep
home.
into the show was that?
It was pretty
like
deep.
right
It
at the
was-
beginning? Oh, okay.
It was pretty deep. So we got a show. The band was amazing. They sound like Dave and Eric and Steven, like they sounded phenomenal, but they kept having to slow down and stuff to like let Perry like catch up. So like that was affecting it. So, it wasn't a great show, but at least we got to see, I would say most of it, because they played 3 days and Oceanside, which felt crescendo-esque, like they were getting ready to like do their, go backstage and then encore thing. But yeah, it was
Who
wild.
played before them?
Love and Rockets, who I had never seen before. They're like the kind of band that you always hear bands of people our age, like Jane's probably, maybe like Pixies, like bands like that. We're always like talk about a band like Love and Rockets as being like their favorite inspirations and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And did you like them?
They were good. Their songs felt like it felt like I would like listen to the beginning of the song and I'd be like, nice, this sounds awesome. But like it would sound the same way the whole way through.
Yeah.
And then I would get a little bored with it. But then it'd be like, okay, the next song will be like a full song. And then it would be kind of like just like an intro song. Like I don't know. It's just like their style didn't hit with me. They have one song that's really famous, but I forget the name of it. But I think most people would recognize it if they heard it.
You're gonna pull up that comment from OK Figures.
From OK Figures. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
David, that was the best toy commercial I've seen in 30 years.
I totally agree. It is so good.
That
Yeah.
makes my heart melt hearing that
that's what
stuff.
toy commercials should be. Yeah.
Yeah, just like we're missing that. I wanted it just to be like a supercharged quick trip back to, your childhood. And I know we all have different things we like grew up with, but it feels like that connect when they see the toys and they see that, it's just like they're just warped,
Mm-hmm.
So for Comics Legends, I am still like full-time industry. Like, so I work for Tweeterhead. I started, which is a statue company. We make He-Man statues and Thundercat statues. We have original Monsters line. I work on DC. And then I started a statue company with my buddy Todd Johnson, who owns Speculative Fiction online retail for super high-end expensive statues. So we have Reventure Studios, which has the Frazetta license. We're making Frazetta statues. That's like 1 or 2 things a year. It's nothing crazy. So between those two, it's not like 40 hours a week. It's like 30 hours. And then Monstors is really, it'd be one thing if it was like, the Kickstarter is insane. Like I've never done a Kickstarter before. People have told me it's like, oh, it's like a full-time job for 30 days. It's like overtime for like 90 days. I've been working on like crazy since before, like the day we launched, I was up. So we launched Tuesday morning. I was up at 7:30 on Monday, last Monday. I was up till 7:30, worked, took a half an hour break to walk my dogs, half an hour break for lunch, half an hour break for dinner. And I worked till 4:30 in the morning the next day,
Lord.
Tuesday. I took a 2-hour nap, woke up at 6:30, and then worked until 10:30 when we launched. We're supposed to launch at 9, but there's just like things I didn't foresee. And then I walked my dogs because they were freaking out. I normally walk them at 8, and they're like, Dad, it's late. What the hell? So I like walked them. Shut up, dogs. Walked them. And I get back, then all these comments like, you did it wrong. So I'm like, oh, I did kick it wrong. So I like spent the next 2 hours updating, and then I just kept updating and working through. Then you just get caught up in the whole like, oh my God, like marketing. Oh my God. What? Then went on toy anxiety that night. So I worked until like I was on there, and then I kept working till 10:30 at night. And I was like, and that was just like day 1.25.
Yeah.
And then just every day after that is like, every 3 days I was on like a different live stream or chat or pre-record, just because it's like you have to. It's like I was talking with a buddy. It's like a campaign trail. You're like presidential campaign, like kissing babies and shaking dogs or whatever you do. You're just like, oh, hi, And then meanwhile, I'm like watching my workload, my actual work, it like filled up and be behind. I'm like, oh, it's like yesterday I was cramming, getting ready for Big Bad Toy Store launch today. And then I go drive out. One of my freelancers lives like 40 minutes away. Drove out there, spent 3 hours with them building this project, dropping off a photographer. I get back at 10:30, just like I have stuff to do. Just like put to bed. I'm like, it's a grind. So I like the goal would be like Igo stuff is the parent company. It's like my Nintendo, and Monsters is my Mario Brothers, and then Kaiju Doom is a Kaiju Safubi line I started working on. It was my first licensing deal. That's like my Metroid or whatever. Then I have other things I'm working on behind the scenes. But yeah, having Igo's stuff become full-time would be like the dream. Like if I can not just toys, like I love toys. Like I want Monsters to be a successful toy line. But I want to use that success with like I have a cartoon show outline. I have a story I want to tell. Like I want to bundle all that together to be able to go to someone and be like, look, I have toys and they sold really good, and I have this idea and I think it works, and I have this branding message, and check out this toy commercial. It's catchy, right? And the logo, the oars, or this. And I'm hoping like I can bundle all that stuff together and show people I can make things, not just toys, but make like new IPs. Because, someone not this, no matter how you say this, it just sounds weird, but like someone, I don't want to sound like an ego, but someone's got to make the next He-Man, Ninja Turtles, whatever, right? Like I want Monsters to be like that next thing. And whether it can be or not, I don't know, but I just know so far it seems like it's off to an okay start. Just keep pushing, get the feedback from people, see what's really making them like click with it. And it seems like right now everyone's like clicking. Like I think I found a good formula that makes sense. And then I have ways to expand it later. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. Like how do I introduce a female character meaningfully? How do I introduce dinosaurs meaningfully? How do I get technology and laser guns maybe down the line into it meaningfully, not just like make it feel this random ADHD craziness, which it kind of already is, you know. So
I think it's cool though, the whole Kickstarter format, how it's allowed people to get into this industry though that you know may not otherwise have been able to. You know, we've seen a lot of, you know, people that we're close to in the toy community that have launched lines within the last couple of years through Kickstarter and have, you know, been successful. And it's just awesome, man. It's cool to see that it's not all, you know, Mattel and Hasbro and, you know, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think it's like, I mean, it's great when guys like Brutal Realm are able to team up with someone like David Vonner, who has like years of experience. You know, I have my almost 18 years of experience in consumer products with Resin, but I'm able to team up with Chris Garwich, who knows like plastics like better than most anyone, you know, and just be able to like put our minds together. And I'm not coming, I come at him with like knowledge of like, I understand this is going to be a thing. So help me understand this thing better. Not like, I don't know what we're doing. Just make the toys, you know, it's kind of like let it make his life not miserable would be great, you know? And then some people who have like no connection to anything are able to do stuff too. And sometimes it doesn't pan out because it's like too much of a thing or their idea is too niche, you know? So it's like that balance. And hopefully those people don't take defeat like bad. It's just like he's got to learn and grow from it. Like, why didn't this work? Was it the timing? Was it my marketing? Was it like the content of what I'm working on? Like I didn't just like come up with this and just put it on Kickstarter. It's been like I've been thinking on this since 2021, you know, when the original design started, and I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, but I just knew I wanted them. And then taking them to shows, enough people were like, I want these. It was really Eric Treadway that like pushed me over. He's like, I want these. You're going to work with Chris. I'm like, all right, cool. Guys, I'm doing it. No, and but then it was almost a year late. It was a year later when the Kickstarter. Yeah, because it was, what month is it? Because that was August last year.
That would be August, yeah.
Yeah, because there was no PowerCon this year, so yeah.
Took a while to finish things, get things up to speed. I went through some life stuff too, so that delayed it. But yeah, and if anyone has a good idea, just you don't have to commit to Kickstarter right away. Just start like a Facebook group, start an Instagram page, show it to friends, get their feedback. You know, Dave, with so many years of experience, would you be open to consulting on toy production? So again, I'm newer to toy production. I've done a lot of like statues, which is different. But yeah, if anyone ever has a question, like, I mean, my Instagram, I'm the person answering my Instagram at the Monstors or at Igo stuff. I'm the person answering all that stuff. So if you have any questions, if I don't know it, I might be able to point you in the right direction. And then if it becomes a thing, then
that's like one of the things. It's like a lot of it's about the networking and, you know, just kind of being in the community and stuff too.
Yeah. And most people are approachable just as long as you're not like a weird douchebag about it. Like if you're coming at them like super hot, like, give me all your secrets for free, then they're like, dude, who are you? But if you get to like know someone, then befriend them, and it's like, hey, you know, Nick or whoever, I have this idea I've been working really hard on. Can I just steal a little bit of your time? Just tell me if I'm crazy. That's like how you approach it. Like, no one wants coming in hot, you know, like just come in and chill. Like, imagine if some stranger comes at you. How do you want a stranger to approach you on the street? Hey, I have this thing. I have an idea. You know, it's like, whoa, who are you? You know, like, who are you? Stranger.
It is interesting to hear the amount of work that it entails though behind the scenes, because we don't see that part of it. I mean, we see the, you know, people going on shows like you're talking about and doing your little campaign trail and stuff, but we don't know all the things
trail. Little campaign trail. How dare you? It's a big campaign trail. It's the biggest and greatest campaign trail.
Yeah, but it's interesting to hear all the amount of hours and work that goes into it behind the scenes. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually thinking about writing a journal just for this whole process. Maybe just release a blog thing, like what I did every day. Like even that the first day of like how many hours I worked out, like think, you know, it's like just crazy saying out loud, then taking a 2-hour nap, then working through the next day again. It felt like I was back in college, like when we would pull all-nighters getting our midterms done. But yeah, like even you see a lot of people, this is part of the deal. And people get discouraged, never get discouraged by online feedback. You know what I mean? Just you'll see people shit all over something you worked really hard on. And I say, people tell me like, don't read comments. I'm like, no, you should read comments. Just learn that not every opinion's right. That's an opinion. And even if someone's being really shitty, they might have a good idea. And you should just kind of like hear them out. Just like put on your battle armor and just listen to it. And some people are just like, $55, who's this guy smoking? This is crazy. Was he high? And then I just love like just engaging those people. Like, actually, I was drunk, and this is but people they assume no matter what, you're always gonna run into people that want to assume the worst or whatever. You just gotta like take the hits. It's like, dude, don't worry about them. Like I'm not gonna don't waste your energy on them. They suck.
I know Bill says a lot to especially in our community, our Mythic Legion community, that like if somebody disagrees with you on social media, that doesn't mean they're attacking you. Like there's a difference, and knowing that difference and being able to understand it is important. So
a great way to understand it. Have you seen that Key and Peele skit where they're texting each other?
Yes,
dude, 100%. That's what it is.
Yeah.
No big deal. No big deal. What? So that's, and I've been guilty of that too on an email exchange when I was at Sideshow. Like I've been the guy that overreacted to a text when I like read it the way I wanted to hear it in my head.
Right.
I've really tried to learn and grow from that. So even reading negative feedback online, you can tell when someone's like really trying to take the piss out of you. You're just like, you're just trying to ruin my day, and I'm not even going to give you the time. I'm not going to give this fire any more gasoline. I'm just going to like let it remove the oxygen, let that fire extinguish,
Yeah.
So, not worth it. Yeah, it's fun. And thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to come and share what I'm up to and my story and answer. One thing I love about this is like the questions, getting to know people. We sat when Dave's Kickstarter tour ends, spent the last week and a half laughed. Thanks, Scott. I'm just like, I wanted to make this a fun experience and journey. And even for people like Josh, who I know like have watched, sorry, I love Josh. I want to make it like every time he watches me on another thing, it's like, oh yeah, cool. He's going to talk about, then something crazy is going to happen, or he's going to share. Now, like, because then there's the people that watch same stuff, and the new audience. So they still need to know about Monsters. They need to be like, man, that Dave guy, he's funny and crazy. I want to see more what he's about. Like, what's the next thing he's going to be up to? And even a friend of mine, he's a higher up at a video game company. And he was texting me. He's like, dude, my kid watched your video 3 times a day. I thought he meant a toy commercial. He's like, no, he watched your talking head video. He thinks you're like a celebrity on TV. He caught his kid. He recorded it. His kid in the car, copying what I was saying in his voice, just like, nice. I got this stuff, just like he's like this, and I'm like, that's awesome. Just adults have loved it, kids have loved it, and that's like, it's not an ego. It's not like I'm trying to be a celebrity. It's like I just love it when people enjoy the effort and they enjoy it, and I don't know. I just want to make people happy, make them have a good time. If it's not for them, that's cool. Like we can still hang out, have a beer, and if you can't afford it, it's cool. Like I hate it when I share my campaign with a friend. I never want to come across like, you're going to buy something, right? It's more like, just so you know, this exists. And you do
this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. If a friend ever felt like, well, I have to give them some money. If I knew any one of my friends felt that way, and then they did it because they felt like I was pushing on them, I would throw myself off a building. I'm like, I just would never be able to live with myself knowing like someone felt like, oh, Dave's pressuring me. It's like, I'm just, here it is. If you like it, awesome. I'm going to make it the best I can for you.
And that's the only way, that's the only way it's going to be a success anyway, is if it's the people who want it. If there's enough people who want it to buy it. It's the same thing with like running a YouTube channel. It's like, I don't want my mom or my students or anybody like subscribing to my channel who's not interested in it, because it doesn't help anything at all.
Yep.
Like it's like the same kind of thing. Like it's just, it doesn't really, it's sort of like false confirmation or something like that,
Well,
but if there is the one really rich person watching, feel guilty and give me all your money. Make this fun.
You can get the retailer times 36, whatever.
This is your opportunity to become a retailer.
Right.
Yeah. Or buy the all-in gold too. Buy like 5 of those. Thank you. Thank you for giving me your money.
I haven't seen enough of these Kickstarters though, where like, even if it's not your thing, if you really like the person, share it. Like get it out there, because somebody in your friend group or whatever may be really into this. Yeah. So, yeah.
And if it's not your thing, but you still have money, there's a donation set you can buy for kids. And that's like something else to put out there. So people know it's going to like a cause, not just like, oh, this guy trying to get rich off me. It's like, dude, I'm not making anyone who wants to make money, don't get into making toys. If you want to make money, go be a doctor, a lawyer, Bitcoin, not toys. Won't
Bitcoin. I was just thinking too, like you mentioned, like a possible like journal or log or a blog or whatever. What I think you should do is just record a quick, just put your face in the camera and record a quick Instagram short, once a week or every other day or something like that. I think that would be like, that kid watching your video, like charisma and all that, like that would totally be a fun thing to see as you're going along with it.
That's a good idea. Instead of like worried about writing it all out, it could just be like when you're in like prison.
Just recap your day every day.
Day 5 of prison. 3 days.
There you go.
The guards became nice, but they don't talk as much. You could do like one of those things. Good.
Yeah, like
captivity. That's what it is.
Today it went up on Big Bad Toy Store. Man, here's some of the responses and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Just here's when it went up on Big Bad Toy Store, and here's me hitting refresh my Kickstarter campaign, watching it drop. Calculated risk. We'll see. Did go down a little bit, but it's gonna go back up.
It will.
There you go.
Especially when that big bad fund comes in.
That big bad money. That's what we're gonna call the big bad money. It's gonna.
Well, that's what happened with Brutal Realms. Like they were down to the last few days, and all of a sudden it was like that big bad money hit, and it was like boom, funded.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's where, and even they admitted like they're worried, and it was like because they're around 40,000-50,000 for like a couple weeks, maybe not a couple weeks, but like for a while, and their goal was 140. Then eventually they hit 160, then it was 180. Then it felt like went from from 80 to like 120. It's like whoa,
I think once it like hit funding, it went so fast, like high. It was pretty wild.
I feel like I hit refresh. It was like, oh, they're funded. 140, refresh, 180, refresh, 220. I'm like, what the shit? Like, this is how you make money. Just hit the refresh button and watch your bank account.
Yeah.
It's so weird that like there's people that wait until it funds, and it's like there's no like commitment. Like you're not stuck anything. If it doesn't fund, like go ahead and just pledge early. If you're going to pledge early.
Yeah,
I think it's a FOMO thing. I think it's a FOMO thing a little bit too, where it's like once you realize the reality that it's going to be made, and you're like, all right, I got to get out on this now. You know what I mean? You might have been on the fence or not really even into it, but then once you realize it's actually going to get made, and there's a little bit of that, I think that happens with people.
Yeah, totally. It's weird because I worked really hard on like the campaign, which is like getting people to sign up for the Kickstarter announcement page, which is I think I had like 620 or around like 612, 620 like people sign up. I'm like, sweet, at 600 people day one, they're gonna like, nope. I'm still like, it was like day one was like maybe 120 people, and then it's been creeping up. Now I'm at like 300 and 300 and something. I'm like, I still don't even have half of what the original notified me when this launches people, and you just don't know, like, oh, people forgot, or they're waiting to see what happened. Oh, what are stretch goals, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird game of like, we need you now. Like the sooner, plus when stuff funds sooner, then it gets like front page Kickstarter marketing, which then just helps more. So whenever people hold back, it just like, it doesn't help. Like not to pressure anyone. Like if you want it, just like dive in. If you don't want it, then don't. But like if you're like, and I get like people might be in a financial situation of like, I need to wait a couple weeks. So like, I know I'm going to have this money. I'm waiting for this thing, or my job's in, like, I totally get that. Never would want to ever make anyone feel weird about that. But if you're like, I'm for sure going to back it, but only if it gets to $112,000. Come on, man, jump in, help out, do it, make toys. Awesome toys.
I think I know the answer to this question, but Comics Legend says, David, if Mattel came to you and wanted to buy the Monstors property, would you sell it to them?
So that's actually something I've thought in the back of my head is like, and I've kind of structured Igo stuff to maybe eventually do this with stuff. Is like, can I build an IP, show I can build successful components to it, and then sell it? Like, hey, can I invest for a lack of a better analogy, like house flipping. Like, can I buy this? Can I make this thing with house flipping? You buy a house, then you dump money into it, and then you sell it for a profit, right? But with this, it's like, can I build an IP for this amount of money and then sell it for this amount of money? And it's a weird thing when you've invested a lot of your time and like money, and then but also like your heart and your soul. Like this Monsters thing, especially now that's been a Kickstarter thing, is in such a different experience. But I feel like fostering, I could never foster dogs because I would just keep them all.
Right.
Like, oh, keep them all. I can't like temporarily have a dog. If a dog enters my house, it's not my friends. It will become my dog. And I feel like now I've dangerously become like that attached to Monsters, which is probably a good thing. But I mean, like anything's on the table. If I did ever sell it, like if someone like Mattel came to me and was like, we want to buy Monsters, I'd be like, cool. Well, hopefully you want to buy it because you like what I've done. And hopefully if you buy it from me, we work out a deal where I'm still a small percentage investor. And then you hire me to be like a creative producer, creative consultant or something involved in it. Because didn't you buy it because you like what I've done with it? When you want me involved, obviously like they have their concerns and worries or whatever, but that would be the best case scenario for me is, you know, something like that where
still
it's like
stay involved with it. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, but I like it. It means a lot that someone who even asked that. It means they think it's good enough that maybe Mattel would want it because Mattel's like, we don't have a thing. They have Street Sharks. I get it. They have.
It does feel very Mattel-ish. Like when you were showing the like the comparison pics there with like the turtles and this, like that stocky beefiness. Like it reminds me when I was a kid and I collected He-Man. That's what it feels like. You know, it feels like that.
And maybe it's a thing where Hasbro goes, we don't have something like this. That we have G.I. Joe, we have Transformers. I forget what else Hasbro owns. And like, I know there's like the bigger umbrella and they have like
Star Wars
Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. But they might not have like a thing like this, you know? So maybe Hasbro would want it. This could be a future con thing. Like post-con announcement, Monsters. Right? That'd be cool. Then you guys can review it.
There you go.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Are you going on anything next? You got any other shows lined up? Any more on the campaign tour here?
I don't have them readily available in front of me. I'm doing a couple pre-records coming up. Finally, Dan Larson and I have been going back and forth trying to figure out because he's been super busy too. So I might be going on with Dan Larson on one of his future live streams, which would be cool. Going back on a couple of repeaters. I'm going back on Toy Anxiety at some point. So it seems like a lot of people have invited me back, which is really cool. I guess it means it's like I'm not boring.
No, you're definitely not boring.
And so Dan, I'm really excited for Toy Galaxy. Like maybe again or Secret Galaxy. Like maybe next week. It might be next Saturday. We're still trying to lock that in. And I know I'm forgetting someone. I apologize. This is literally have my list like on another document. Like, oh, what is coming up? But we'll talk about on Instagram. So I'm on Instagram at the Monstors because someone took Monstors before I did. This jerks.
That's the same thing with me.
Yeah,
I'm the DORKLAIR because someone took DORKLAIR years ago, and it's a girl named Claire. But I can't message her because it's private. I can't be like, would you like sell this to me or whatever? But her name's Claire, DORKLAIR.
Hey, Claire.
Hi, Claire. Let's talk. You can just Jay and Silent Bob just like show up at her doorstep. Like, are you Claire? Yeah, it's weird when that happens. Some people just take it. Even like the domain monsters.com was just like bought by someone and they're just holding on to it to try and like upsell it. And I'm like, hey, I'll give you $1,500 for this. Like, no, we want $7,000. I'm like,
oh God,
nope. Guess I'll just make it really popular without this, you know? And I don't know, it's like, it sucks when it's like, no, we bought this just to be a dick bag with it. It's like, can't you just understand? I'm like a smaller operation. I have this thing. I just want it to like, we want to squeeze as many dollars out of you, Dave Igo, as we can. Okay. All that toy money I'm going to make.
You'll show them one day.
Yeah. When the internet, but I'm going to wait them out and then the internet won't even be, it'll be like what, W3 or whatever it's called, like the third internet or whatever. It'll all be online, like we'll all have our headsets on and our chairs like this, you know? I don't know, whatever that is.
That's
like,
when you'll make your move.
Yeah. Well, they just won't even exist. They'll be like the people who bought like the rights that thing on Laserdisc. They're like, huh, we got you, sucker. And I just wait them out, and then Blu-ray comes out. I'm like, you suck. I can do it on Blu-ray. Jerk. It's gonna be them, that website. No one's gonna even use web. Like, dude, I mean, how many times you actually like a lot? It feels like so much now is through social media. Besides like the main big websites. Yep. There's not like a lot of like smaller company sites I really go to. I'm like, oh, cool. There's a social media, and I can buy it through their thing, and then that takes me to their store, and I only buy it through whatever that store link is. Doesn't matter what the URL is, And then Big Bad, Amazon. You know what I mean? It's like that's what I just don't think like a .com name carries as much weight as it used to. As long as you have a presence somewhere, and then you're like, here's the link to this place where you can support me direct. Cool, So
yeah, social media. I wish we could go back, but yeah, social media really is the main place now.
Yep.
Check any last comments here. Thanks for the stream from Erwin.
Yeah, designer Erwin Papa helped start this whole thing. It's awesome.
Steph says snap into a Slim Jim. And can I?
You do have that energy.
I don't know what he's talking about. Snap into a Slim Jim. Like, it's been a while since I've seen those, but something like that, right?
Curtis, what do you got coming up?
Tomorrow we're doing Off-World. We're not doing predictions for the G-Con, but we're kind of doing, this is what we would do if we were the Horsemen. So
that's fun.
Yeah, so we're each going to come up with a couple different characters and kind of talk about them. So that'll be kind of fun. And then
throw at you, Curtis, for that too. So they've done the giant troll characters that I love out of the Frost. I have like almost all of them. They haven't done like a Balrog where it's like the darker skin and the fire cracks. Just like it has that cool demon head. Throw that out. I want people to keep saying that out loud. So maybe one day we get our fire troll.
Got it. I will throw that out there tomorrow night. So
Dave Igo request.
There you go.
He has good ideas, that guy.
Totally. And then hopefully next week sometime we'll be doing another episode of Allegiance Quest, which is our D&D campaign that we're doing. We normally would be doing it Monday, but you guys are going with another Allegiance Lounge on Monday. Right. So maybe Monday night or Tuesday, but sometime next week we're supposed to record another episode of our D&D campaign. So
awesome.
Sweet.
All right. Well, thanks for hopping on last minute, Curtis and David. Thank you for coming in and sharing your campaign, and good luck going forward with it.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you guys so much again for letting me hog the airtime for a little bit. Super appreciate it. And getting to know you guys. You guys are cool. So I like this. New friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you to the audience. As always, appreciate all the super chats and the memberships and just you being here and listening to us. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, may the force be with you.
Follow me into the door.